Um, there's something I got to say about the state of this country. You know, we look to politicians and things like that to change our country. And, you know, I've been a Trump supporter, and I support Trump. That's not saying I have agreed with everything he's said and done. There are a couple things that I have disagreed with. One of them being when he got the fake preacher, Kenneth Copeland, up there to pray. We can't really put our faith in them. Like I said, I think he made a great president, and I think he would make a good president again. But our focus really needs to be on God. And I'm not talking about, you know, like Muhammad or Buddha or nothing like that. I'm talking about the one true God. God is the one true God, and that's it. All the other religions are basically useless. But we need to put our faith in Him and focus on Him instead of someone else. And because we can't be idolizing politicians and stuff like that. The problem with this country has been that we idolize so many people. We idolize politicians. We idolize celebrities and athletes and singers and things like that. And I'm not saying I've never done that, because I have. And people have idolized Trump, and I'm gonna go ahead and admit that I was one of those. I idolized him, and it was wrong of me. And the funny part about it is I didn't think about it until I heard, you know, a liberal person saying stuff about Trump supporters, saying that they idolize him and things like that. And unfortunately, I hate to admit, but I had to agree with that liberal on that part, because we have idolized him. We've looked to him to be our quote-unquote savior of the country. But our real savior is Jesus. And God is the only one who can actually put this country back on track. We went so long as a free country that, and it was because we had God as our main focus. Most people, that was his main focus. I mean, most people, that was their main focus, sorry. And then ever since we started getting away from God and getting him out of a lot of stuff, like schools and things like that, our country has just been slowly declining. And right now, we are witnessing what seems to me to be the end of our country as we knew it before. Our freedoms are being slowly taken away from us, and things are getting so immoral that it's just ridiculous. People have normalized abortions, which is basically, I don't care what anybody says, it is murdering an innocent child. And I don't care what situation you put it in, it is murder. I mean, I know if the mom can die if it's going to kill the mom, I really don't know on that. Somebody will have to show me something in the Bible for that. Like I say, I don't know in that situation. If there's a situation to where, you know, if the baby is a result of someone forcing themselves upon another person, then you shouldn't be blaming the baby by aborting the baby, killing the baby. You know, obviously it is extremely wrong to force yourself upon someone. To me, that's extremely wrong. And that person that does that needs to be suffering the full consequences. But we find ourselves, we'll kill, people will abort the baby and kill it. But then the person who actually commits that crime, you know, sometimes they'll go to prison and sometimes not. Like if they're not able to find them, you know, obviously they're not going to go to prison, but if they do go to prison, that's it. You know, they're not going to do the same thing to that person that they do to the baby, which, I mean, is backwards. But anyways, let me get back to the point. Things like that, we've gotten so immoral, and we're going way off track. And it's kind of like Israel. If you look in the Bible, you look at Israel, and you know the Jews are God's people. That's God's people. I don't care what anybody says. It's God's people. You know, when God was the center of their focus, when they're putting all their focus on Him and relying on Him for everything, they were doing great. They were basically protected from everybody. Anybody that came against them that got defeated. And as soon as they strayed away from God, bad things started happening with them. Like they started doing more immoral stuff. And I mean, heck, at one point they were sacrificing, you know, their kids. And you see, if you look at that, you see where they ended up going, getting taken over and going into exile and things like that, and bad things happening. Because they strayed away from God and they thought they could do stuff themselves. And to me, that's where we're heading as a country. We've gotten away from God, so our country is going downhill. If we put our focus on God and let Him be our Savior and rely on Him for everything, then He will protect us. He will provide for us, and He will defeat anybody that tries to come against us. And that's what this video is about. Relying on Him, not rely on any politicians or anybody to basically save our country and put us on the right track, because man is corruptible. God is not corruptible. He is all good. He's only going to do what is, you know, good for Him and good for the people. And like even Donald Trump, like I said, I've supported Donald Trump. I don't idolize him, although I believe I did at the time. Right now I don't. I support him. I would like to see him as president, but it's like they're trying to, you know, force him out, which seems like to me. But in my opinion, but even if he does get in there, if we don't turn ourselves to God, you know, nothing's going to change. It's still going to be bad. It's still going to be bad. But we may be living in the end times to me, it seems like we're living, excuse me, in the end times. It seems like, the things that Jesus described and stuff in Revelations is just, it's kind of working its way there. And with things going on in the whole world, if you look at prophecy and things, and you can read the Bible, but also there's one guy that he delves into prophecy. He doesn't claim to be a prophet. He's actually, I've heard him say he's not a prophet, but he looks at prophecy in the Bible and then looks at things going on with today. But that channel is called Hope for Our Times. If you want to look that up, he's really good. But anyways, it looks like maybe we're heading that direction. So, according to the Bible, things are just going to keep getting worse until the end anyways. But if we're not in the end times, it would be good to put all our faith in God and believe in Jesus Christ as our Savior. And I believe we can get on the right direction and save this country, but more importantly, save souls. Because even if our country is saved and everybody in the country goes to hell, there's nothing gained right there. But anyways, that's how I see it, and I try to call it like I see it. If there's anything you disagree with, let me know. But y'all have a nice day.